Hey everyone! Today, we're diving into a bill that could totally reshape one of the most powerful institutions in the United States. We're talking about a proposal to end lifetime jobs for Supreme Court justices. Let's get right into it. I mean, think about it for a second. A job for life? Most of us would probably say, no way. But, for the 9 justices on the Supreme Court, that's exactly what it is. It's a tradition that goes back to the very beginning of the country. But right now, it's at the heart of a huge debate about power, politics, and what the court's future should even look like.
So you gotta ask, why all the fuss right now? Why is this tradition, which is centuries old, suddenly getting so much attention? Well, this whole push for reform didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's really the result of years of some pretty intense political fights over who gets to sit on that bench.
And this timeline right here, it really shows how things heated up. It all kicked off back in 2016 when President Obama's pick, Merrick Garland, wasn't even given a hearing. Then came Neil Gorsuch, who only got confirmed after a big Senate rule change. And the real clincher? The confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett just 8 days before the 2020 election. Each of these moments just kept adding more fuel to the fire.
For a lot of progressives, when you add all that up, plus some major conservative rulings on things like abortion and environmental rules, it painted a really clear picture. They saw a court that was going to be locked into one ideology for decades. And that feeling, that perception, is really the engine driving this whole call for a major change. Okay, so in response to all that concern, we're now seeing a real, actual legislative proposal on the table. And it offers a totally different way of thinking about how the highest court in the country could work. Yeah, I know. The official name is a bit of a mouthful. The Supreme Court Term Limits and Regular Appointments Act. But what it aims to do is actually pretty simple. It's a bill that was introduced in the House to get rid of lifetime appointments and put a predictable, fixed system in its place. And what's the big idea here? Well, it all comes down to this one number, 18. The bill would set an 18-year term for any new Supreme Court justice. That would fundamentally change how long they serve and the very nature of their job on the active bench.
Okay, so how would this whole thing actually play out? The system is designed to be super regular, almost like clockwork. Every president would get to nominate a new justice in their first and third year in office. That means a new vacancy would open up every 2 years, guaranteed. After serving their 18 years, a justice wouldn't just be kicked out. Instead, they'd move to something called senior status, which lets them keep working by filling in on lower federal courts. Now, the bill has a few other really important details tucked inside. First, to avoid a massive political battle, it grandfathers in all the current justices, so the new rules wouldn't apply to them. But here's the clever part. To stop future standoffs, it has this rule that if the Senate just sits on a nominee for 120 days, that person automatically gets the job. This is a direct shot at what happened with Merrick Garland's nomination. And one of the bill's co-sponsors, Representative Mike Levin, really boiled it down perfectly with this quote. The whole point is to get rid of the political games of strategic retirements, where justices wait until a president they like is in office to step down. The goal is just a steady, fair process that, supporters hope, would help people trust the court again.
Okay, so it sounds like a plan, right? Well, not so fast. An idea is one thing, but making it a reality is another. This bill is running smack into 2 massive, almost impossible hurdles. On one hand, you've got what we can call the constitutional wall. Article 3 of the Constitution says federal judges hold their jobs during good behavior. For more than 200 years, that has been understood to mean one thing: for life. And most legal experts agree, if you want to change that, you probably need a whole constitutional amendment, not just a regular law. Then, on the other side, you've got the political wall. Republicans, who, currently benefit from the 6-3 conservative majority on the court, argue that lifetime appointments are absolutely essential to keep judges independent and free from political pressure. With that kind of fundamental disagreement, the bill has pretty much zero chance of passing in today's Congress. So let's be real. If this bill is basically dead on arrival, why even bother introducing it? Well, because its real importance goes way beyond whether or not it actually becomes a law. It's really less about becoming a law and more about being a giant political statement. It's a flag in the ground, signaling a deep frustration with the way the court is heading. It's a way for Democrats to put a tangible solution out there after feeling like they've been losing the fight over the courts for the last decade.
So where is it right now? Well, pretty much where you'd expect. It was introduced, sent over to the House Judiciary Committee, and that's it. No hearing, no vote. It's just sitting there in legislative limbo. And its future is, to put it mildly, very uncertain.
At the end of the day, what this bill really does is shine a spotlight on a much, much bigger conversation happening in the country. It highlights a deep disagreement, not just about who's on the court, but about the court's fundamental role, its power, and its legitimacy in American life today.
And that's not a debate that's going away anytime soon. Whether it's through term limits or some other kind of reform, the question of how to make sure the court is seen as fair is going to stick around. Which really leaves us all with a huge question: what does a truly balanced court actually look like? And how in the world do we get there?